Where Winds Meet has been on my radar for a while. We are now nearing the game's full release outside of China. It has an interesting and beautiful open world, a wide variety of martial arts attacks and combat, side activities like wrestling and being a doctor, and some of the coolest traversal moves I've seen in a while. And it's also free to play with only cosmetic items to buy. So I was happy when Everstone Studios reached out to sponsor this video, as I learned a ton of new stuff that I want to share in this video. Where Winds Meet takes place in a fictional version of China after the fall of the Tang Dynasty. Large parts of the country were in political turmoil or even at war with each other, and you enter this setting as your own wuxia hero, because the game features a pretty extensive character creator to make your own protagonist. Okay, to be fair, you can do much more than be a martial arts hero, but at least for the fully voiced main story quest, you'll engage in epic battles and duels with other legendary warriors, with some cool choreographed cutscenes in between as well. And with it being an open world game, there is of course much more you can do. One of Where Winds Meet's most unique features is its traversal, as right from the start you are able to leap and dash pretty far and run up or alongside walls. So you're immediately free to pick your own path and get to places that would seem out of reach in other games in the genre. But that is only the beginning, as there are special skills you can unlock to expand your movement abilities even further. You'll eventually be able to leap and run along water, which is also used in special traversal challenges found throughout the open world. And there's also this move where you leap sky high and launch yourself in a chosen direction, effectively allowing you to fly for a bit to cross large distances quickly. While fast travel is also an option, I don't think I'll be using it much when you have moves that look this cool at your disposal. Your added mobility is of course great for traversing the open plains of the starting Qinghe region, but as you explore further, you'll also encounter large city hubs that you want to get lost in. Take the large city of Kaifeng for example, where every building is accessible and it's overall full of traditional architecture, heavily inspired by real buildings from the 5 Dynasties and 10 Kingdoms period that the game takes place in. There's quite a lot of NPCs on the street as well, selling wares and sharing gossip, but Kaifeng also hides many secrets, like an entire underground dungeon. And while you can explore every building, if you'd rather get around quickly, your improved traversal skills will also do you wonders in the city. You can quickly leap and dash from rooftop to rooftop to avoid the busy streets, and considering you're not magically drawn to land on the next rooftop, there's some skill involved as well. But the true challenge of the game will be the fast-paced combat. And real quick, leave a like if you enjoyed the video so far and subscribe for more content like this. Now, while combat in Where Winds Meet might look familiar, with dodges, blocks and parries, and enemy attacks marked by a special glow that you can only counter in specific ways, there are some interesting ideas here. One is insight points, which grants you a brief window of slow motion right before you get hit, so you can still pull off a parry. You only have a couple of these and they recharge over time, so you're still fighting the regular way for most of a fight. But it can help you get to grips with a boss's moves in your earlier attempts, and it can be completely turned off if you want a more challenging combat experience. Weapons also have a huge impact on how you fight, as they effectively decide your class while you're playing. There are 7 weapons in total, each with their own set of special attacks and combos that you can learn to help them grow more powerful. And while some, like one-handed swords or dual blades, look very familiar, there are also some really cool, less traditional options. You can fight using a set of bladed fans, which also give you access to some healing abilities, so you can sort of play a support character. And yes, there's multiplayer as well, so you can use it to support your friends too, but more on that in a bit. You also have this umbrella, which has some decent range to its combos, and many of its weapon skills feel more like magical spells, so if you like playing a caster in other games, I have a feeling you'll really like this one. There's even a martial arts school for each of the weapon types that you can join to learn new skills, so while you are free to experiment, you will likely pick a main weapon at some point. You are able to equip 2 and swap between them at all times though, so you can always bring a set of fans for healing next to a main DPS weapon for example. And while weapon skills need to be learned, new weapons can be found by simply opening chests or defeating enemies. As you progress, you'll keep finding stronger weapons and gear to upgrade your character to prepare them for some of the harder challenges the game has to offer. And there are even combat options outside of your main weapons, as you can sneak up on enemies and stealthily assassinate them, use your bow to harass them from afar, or use one of the many mystical art skills that you'll learn throughout your journey. Think of these as special attacks that aren't tied to a weapon, like being able to breathe a wave of fire or drop a massive bell to fire off a wind blast at enemies within range. You'll actually learn many of these skills through questing and exploration, as one of the first ones you get is unlocked by studying the movements of a bear, which then unlocks Tai Chi, the ability to sling enemies around and throw them regardless of their size. And yes, that also means you get to throw the bear afterwards to show your teacher how much you appreciate this lesson. Some of these skills even have uses outside of combat, as Tai Chi can apparently also be used to draw in water and help with fishing. Plus there are many non-combat abilities in general, which really showcases just how diverse the gameplay is in Where Winds Meet. I already mentioned the traversal stuff, but you can also learn to snatch items from an NPC's pocket from afar. That is considered stealing though, so make sure you're not seen while doing this. If you're eyeing a bigger prize, you can also pull an NPC off their horse and ride away, but you want to be quick as they will turn hostile if you try and steal their mount. There's also a pretty extensive system in place for your physical well-being, meaning that you can get injured or catch an illness, in which case you'll want to find a doctor to remedy that. While there are NPCs that offer this service for a price, players can also learn to become a doctor and help others out in multiplayer. While archery is useful in combat, there are also archery challenges you can complete, and if you'd rather fight with no weapon, you can find a wrestling ring and sign up for a match there, which also has its own entire minigame. The amount of systems and gameplay mechanics is pretty insane actually, as you can even open up a chat box to have a casual conversation with an NPC, or you can engage in a minigame where you trash talk them. Listen, I'm sure there's a good reason for that, but as you can see, you will have plenty to do. On top of that, there are also the more regular objectives you might expect in a game like this, like loot chest locked behind a combat or traversal challenge, or simply hidden somewhere in the world. You also have dungeons with tons of enemies to fight and a challenging boss at the end, and what's really cool is that some of them can drop unique cosmetics for your character. So definitely a reason to go back and grab those if they didn't drop on your first run through. And if you want to enjoy Where Winds Meet as a single player open world RPG, that is entirely possible, but a lot of content like the dungeons can also be played together with other people. You can invite friends to join you, which is available for both instance encounters like dungeons or simply roaming the open world. Or you can use matchmaking for various activities to join up with players you don't know, which is especially nice for some of the tougher combat challenges that seem more geared towards multiplayer. Next to that, you can also enable a more global multiplayer, which means you can run into other random players in the world and city hubs, so more of a shared world experience akin to something like Destiny. And if you want to prove you're the best, there's even the option to duel other players in PvP matches, which should be pretty exciting given how fast-paced the combat is. If you're looking for something a bit more relaxing, the game has multiple difficulty modes and the insight system I mentioned earlier that can be turned on or off, so overall your experience is highly customizable. And of course, all of this content is available for free for all players, as are the regularly planned updates that will add even more content. There is an in-game store, but again, that only sells cosmetic items for your character and new mounts. The developers assured us that there are no items that influence gameplay. Before we wrap things up, we've used footage from multiple content creators to make this preview, so make sure to check out their content too. I'll make sure the links to all of their channels will be in the video description. You can also check out Where Winds Meet via the link in the video description. That really supports the channel as well, and subscribe for more content on the game. Don't forget to leave a like, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!